Welcome to today's Weather School for Kids right here on my back porch. I'm Lisa Spencer. We have a great subject for you today. But before we get started, let me get a little sip of water here. That is so refreshing. And I think I need to water my plant too. They like a little bit of water as well. Have you ever thought about where the water that we drink or the water that we use to water our plants, where it comes from? Well, that is today's subject. We are going to talk about the water cycle. Now, when you see that word written or you hear that word cycle, what do you think of? What's another word that sounds similar? How about circle? If you think of a circle, it just keeps going round and around, right? Maybe like the song. Remember this one? The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round all through the town. So it just keeps going around and around. That's what happens with the water cycle. You can really start anywhere in this circle and you will just go round and around. It never ends. So let's start with the sun. I have my own sun. How do you like this for a sun? My nice little smiley face ball. I've got another ball out here too. We'll pretend that this is the earth. So the sun shines on the earth, and remember, on this earth we have oceans, we have lakes, we have rivers. So let's say, for example, that we've got the sun beaming down on Old Hickory Lake, or Percy Priest Lake, or the Tennessee River, or the Cumberland River here in Middle Tennessee. Well, what happens? Well, that sun is so warm that it beams down on that lake, and we start to see what is called evaporation taking place. Evaporation changes liquid to a gas or water vapor. It continues to rise up in the sky, and as it gets higher in the sky, it starts to cool. When it cools, it condenses and forms a cloud. So the word condensation means that it changes that water vapor or that gas back over to a liquid. Those little water droplets form clouds, and inside those clouds there are a lot of water droplets, so they start banging into each other, bumping into each other and growing. And then there's so much water inside that cloud that it can't hold it anymore. And so it rains. Here's something you can try at home. You can use a sponge. I don't have a sponge, so I'm using a cotton ball. And we can pour this water. Some of it's going to drip off right away, but we're trying to saturate, get a lot of water in our cloud here. And we're going to get so much water in our cloud that if I press it just a little bit, look at that, it starts to rain. And that is how precipitation is formed. So that's our cloud. It's got so much water in it that it starts to precipitate. So try that one at home. What happens after we get the precipitation? Remember, it can be rain or it can be snow. It falls to the ground, has to go somewhere. So some of it is stored in rivers and lakes. Some of it goes into the ground and makes groundwater. And some of it is even stored in our trees and our plants that grow out of the ground. So that is the water cycle. How we go from evaporation to condensation to precipitation and all the way back around to where we find it stored right there in the ground. Well, let's take a look at some pictures that describe this. This is evaporation, so the liquid going into the vapor, and you can see all the steam here. Well, we actually have a little experiment that you can try at home where we're making some of that water vapor, a little evaporation. So what we did, instead of having the sun heat the water, we put it on the stove, and I better use this, it might be a little hot. Can you see that water vapor that's forming, rising into the sky? And we call that evaporation. Now, if you try this experiment at home, make sure that you get your mom or your dad to help you with it because we don't want any accidents. Let's head back out here. We've got some more fun things to share with you. I've got some more pictures. So that was the picture of evaporation. Changing that to water vapor. Here's a picture of condensation. So these are the clouds that are forming. when we get that water vapor, that gas, changing back over to a liquid and all those water droplets. And then we have precipitation. So we have rain here, and then we have snow falling, another form of precipitation. And remember, all that has to go somewhere after it falls from the sky. So this is a great picture of collection. This is my family many years ago when we were at Glacier National Park. I love this picture because it has all different ways of collection. Water is stored in the trees. Water is stored in the lake. Water is stored in the glaciers that are there on the mountains. And water is also stored right there in the snow that you can see that's still on the mountain. Great shot of that collection. Speaking of collection, it's fun too to see how much rain we have collected. And a way you can collect it is by using a rain gauge. Now this is one that I bought, and you can see it's numbered. So I usually stick this in my plant outside, or it also has a little way that you can screw it onto a piece of wood and put it out there so you can measure the rain. If you don't have a rain gauge, you can make a rain gauge. It's really easy to do. I have a couple of different examples. The first one, you can take just a 2-liter bottle and cut it in half. Now you might have to have your parents help you with this. So you get it cut in half like this. And then since we're going to sit it outside so that we can measure the rain, you want to weigh it down. So I just put some rocks in here. And then we're going to put the top back on. And to make it more secure, you can just use some duct tape like this, just regular duct tape. You can make yours a little fancier than what I've made mine if you want to. The next thing you'll want to do is you've got to have a way to measure. So if you will take just a ruler and start above the rocks. Let me put it on this side. Start above the rocks and then just label it 1, 2, 3. All you have to do is use a magic marker and your ruler. And that is your homemade rain gauge. Well, maybe you don't have these supplies at home. Got another idea for you. How about just taking a regular jar, and if you have a ruler, the long kind work, you can just set it in like this. But since my jar is shorter, I happen to have a shorter ruler, so you can secure it with a piece of tape. And once again, you can be as fancy as you want to be with this. You can cut this and make it fit really nicely. And then you can measure here. But remember, we want it to stay in place. We're going to put it outside. So you can take some glue and glue the bottom and put it on a piece of wood like that. And you've got a rain gauge. Now that you know how to make a rain gauge, here's the next step. Let's record what kind of precipitation we get every day. Now you can actually go online and find a sheet that is already pre-made, or you can do like me. I made my own, and I just took my ruler and made some lines. I put the days of the week at the top, and then I'm going to have this go all the way down, and I'm going to record what kind of rain, if we had rain, how much we had each and every day. And you can take it one step farther if you'd like, and you can plot this on a piece of graph paper or make your own graph paper so you can see how much rain we had and how it changes for the next few days, the next few weeks. And if you really like it, keep doing it for months and months, and then you can find trends that happen throughout the year. I have even one more fun thing that you can do. If you really think you'll like this, give it a try. You can also be an official weather observer by joining CocoRahs. What is CocoRahs? Well, I wrote the website down for you. It's CocoRahs.org. What that is Community Collaborative Rain, Hail, and Snow. And you can make daily observations, even if there's no rain. That's important too, and all of that is done online. That's a really fun activity, and it's very important too, because TV meteorologists use that information, and so do meteorologists out at the National Weather Service. All of that is used in many, many different ways of research, and you can be the person that keeps up with the rain totals right there in your community. Thank you for joining us today for our weather lesson here, right on my back porch. You can email me with any questions at lspencer@wsmb.com. Have a great day.